Morning, peeps. Whew. Good morning, everyone. Bloody hell. Good morning. All right, let's get into this. Scores on the doors first. I scored it 7-5 Teofimo. I watched that fight twice. Twice, people, just to be clear on that score. 7-5 Teofimo. I gave Loma 2, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Yeah, 2, 8, 9, 10, 11. I was actually convinced Loma was going to win the 12th. I was like, oh, this is going to be a draw. Because I thought Teofimo was actually getting tired. I thought, oh, Teofimo's done. I actually thought round 11, he looked like he was tired. But then that young bull spirit, and in the 12th, he closed it out in the 12th fantastically. Right? Fantastically. So I gave the fight 7-5 Teofimo. Any other scores, I don't know if I could accept any other score. I could maybe accept 8-4 Teofimo, and I could see how some might give round 2 to Teofimo because Teofimo is still active, but I thought Loma landed the better shots. Not a lot, didn't throw much, but I thought he landed a couple of clean shots in round 2. So you could go 7-5, 8-4. Anything else? Nah, not for me. Let's start with the fight. I thought Teofimo was super sharp, super crisp, fast hands, strong, everything. Like that, the first half of that fight for Teofimo was complete. Like literally tick, tick, tick. Like everything you planned for in the lead up to that fight, he executed. Loma was scared to go to the right. Loma likes to dip and go to the right. Loma was scared of that power. Frightened. First round, Loma got tapped with something. Wasn't big at all, but it was enough to make Loma feel, ain't going there again. I swear, I saw it. Again, I've watched the fight twice. Loma went to the right, got tapped, came back to the left, and I think it might have been the last 15 seconds of that first round. After that, didn't dip to that right again. And Loma always likes to dip to the right as a south, always likes to do it. Didn't want to do it again. So that, yeah, perfectly executed first half of the fight, by Teofimo Lopez. Actually surprised me. You know what surprised me about Teofimo? It wasn't necessarily his boxing IQ. We know he's got some. I didn't think he had that much boxing IQ, by the way, but he's got some. What surprised me more than anything was his speed. He was so sharp. It reminded me a bit of when Loma fought Jorge Linares, and Linares was just sharp. That's how sharp Teofimo was, but sharp with power and better foot movement than Linares. Every time Loma tried to do that swivel move that he likes to do to get out of the pocket, he swiveled as well. And boy, Loma didn't have an answer for it. The only answer Loma had for it was in the second half of the fight, where Loma was like, all right, fuck it, we just got to go toe-to-toe. We just got to go toe-to-toe. Forget the power, we got to go toe-to-toe. And maybe that's because Teofimo's power waned a little bit, as it's going to, right? He's carrying a lot of weight, had to cut a lot of weight, and maybe his power started to wane. Loma felt that, and Loma was like, okay, we're losing. This isn't working. All this fancy foot movement shit that I do isn't working. We've just got to go in the pocket and go toe-to-toe. And that's when Loma had his best success, when he started to do that, when he started to try and go into the pocket and then switch it up a bit. Loma went body head a bit, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to slow the young, hungry, fast, aggressive Teofimo down. Teofimo looked complete tonight. And look, I said in the build-up to this, I said on 100 videos that Loma was going to win because I was convinced. But this is boxing. This is boxing. You got to give it to the young man. The young man was fantastic tonight. Again, I thought out of that 11th going into the 12th, I thought, oh, we got a draw here. We've got a draw. And Teofimo done well to close out in the 12th. I thought even in the 12th, the first minute 20, Teofimo kind of dominated. There was a little 30-second burst where I thought, okay, Loma, this is it now. And then Teofimo went again, landed a big shot, and got the job done. Got the job done, and you've got to congratulate him. Would I like to see a rematch? Yes. I mean, if someone brings 4 belts, if you're including the ring belt, to the table, I think he deserves another go, especially if you scored the fight 7-5 like I did. If you scored it 8-4 or even 9-3, then maybe not so. But if you scored the fight 7-5, then why not? I mean, obviously, there's a couple of scores like that. I think 119, 111, one of the scorecards. That's obviously not how the fight played out. but I could see it happening again. Why not, right? I mean, Loma would look back. Loma's going to look back at that fight and think that he gave the first 5, 6 rounds away. I don't look at it like that. I think he was almost scared for the first 5 or 6 rounds, right? I always talk about Loma downloading information, and watching that fight back the first time live, I thought, okay, he's just downloaded information. That's what's happening. But then it was a case of he's not downloading nothing. He just can't execute here. He can't execute because Teofimo was too sharp. So sharp it was scary. And then the body work of Teofimo as well was fantastic. No one really talks about going to the body of Loma to slow those legs down. Or you don't see fighters do it anyway. You see fighters try and bully him because obviously he's really undersized. But Teofimo went to that body and it slowed Loma down a fraction. But what it did do was make Loma start. It made Loma almost second guess as to what Teofimo is going to do next. And that's kind of the opposite. People normally fighting Loma are second guessing, like, okay, I don't know what's coming from Loma. I have no idea what he's going to do. Where Loma was actually, for the first time, I felt like Loma was like, I have no idea what this guy's going to do. I've no idea this guy's going to go to the body. I have no idea this guy's going to hook, because some fantastic hooks from Teofimo. I have no idea is he going to throw the straight right. Didn't have a clue. I was watching. I didn't have a clue what was coming. And credit, you've got to take your hats off to Teofimo. You've got to, not just for that performance, but for taking the fight. For taking the fight, you've got to take the hats off. Again, he could have sat on the IBF, do his mandatories, right? Make some money, clean up. He's got a bit of a name now, right? He could have done all that. He said, no. I want him. I want Loma. So I'm watching all these fighters tweeting. As I was watching the fight, admittedly I was going on Twitter as well, and I was looking at people's reactions. But then I was looking at some fighters, and they were all talking and twerp, and I'm like, you guys ain't doing this. So well and good you doing that now. You ain't running to the ball like Teofimo did. You're not running to the ball. And maybe this will start opening up some fighters' eyes and minds and like, okay, they are human. They are beatable. Right? How we've been asking for Gervonta to run to that ball that is Loma for 2 years now. I bet you any money now Gervonta and Floyd are gonna start talking. But yeah, fantastic performance from Teofimo. Really, I'm more impressed with that 12th round than any other thing. 1-6, fine, right? 1-6, you're going to be sharp. You're going to be focused. You're going to be on it, right? You're having success. It's easy. It's beautiful. From 7-11, where it got difficult, and it did get difficult, you can see he was getting tired. He was starting to sit on the ropes a little bit. But for the 12th round, to dig that out in the 12th round, when you know this is on the line, to the point where I thought, look, in my head, it could have been a draw, or if Loma wins the 12th, you never know what the judges are looking at earlier. He could have won the fight. For him to dig that 12th round out, salute. What next for both? Like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch. I mean, would you? Obviously, look, there is the chance of two young bulls going at it if Devin Haney gets past Gamboa, right? I mean, some people have said today he's not an undisputed because Devin Haney's got the WBC. So undisputed for me. It's an undisputed, people. But I wouldn't mind seeing that. In the interim, though, I wouldn't mind them doing a rematch. I would not mind seeing that again. Loma, we know the story of his amateur record, 396-1 or 397-1 or whatever it is. And that one he avenged 4 or 5 times back. This will be hurting. But we can do it again. I have no problem doing it again. If not, I think Teofimo could go to 140, I mean, if I'm a Ramirez watching that, I'm like, ouch. I mean, again, let's not forget that the guys at 140 that rule the roost are in top rank as well. Josh Taylor and Ramirez. There is a lot of talk about those guys being having an undisputed fight. If I'm Teofimo, I'm going straight for the win. I don't know. People might find that weird. Like, why? No. I don't think you have to do business at 140 if you're the undisputed at 135. You can go straight up there and go straight into a title fight as far as I'm concerned. You can cash in those belts. It's like WWE where you got Money in the Bank. You can cash in those belts and say, I want to fight the winner. You can do it. For Loma, I don't know. If he doesn't get that, if he doesn't get the rematch, I think he will get the rematch, but if he doesn't get the rematch, I mean, should he go back down to 130? Should he? Probably he should. His ego will make him not want to go because he's not going to want to use the size excuse, and I don't think he should use the size excuse for this one. This wasn't really about size. This was more about someone outboxing you. That was a boxing match today. It wasn't a brute force match. It was a boxing match, and he got outboxed the first half of that fight. So it wasn't about size. It was just a case of someone used their tactics better than Loma used his. It's that simple. That simple, peeps. I always reference that tool bag thing. Oh, that Loma's going to go into the tool bag and throw things out. Loma didn't go to the tool bag. Didn't go to the tool bag. He wasn't allowed to go to the tool bag. Let me rephrase it. Wasn't allowed. Every time he tried, and trust me, I've watched all of Loma's fights multiple times over. I almost know what's coming next. Every time he tried to go to the tool bag, Lopez was like, shut that fucking tool bag. Shut that tool bag. That's what happened. Literally every time, shut that tool bag. And every time he did try and bring out something from that tool bag, Lopez was like, but I got this as well. Honestly, Lopez went to that tool bag with that left hook. Lopez went to that tool bag with that body jab, with that straight right, with the foot movement, changing angles himself. Welcome to the big leagues, young bull. Welcome to the big leagues. I am happy to eat humble pie. I'm a Loma fan, but I've always said this before, people. I'm more of a boxing fan than any other boxer's fan. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. All right. Let me have a quick look at the scorecards again. I can't remember what the scorecards were. I just want to see if anyone was on my wavelength. 116, 112, 119, 109, 117, 111. No, I can go the 116, 112, but that's all I can go for if I'm honest with you. I think even Andre Ward had it 7-5. Not that that means much, because everyone looks for stuff differently, don't they? But I think 7-5 is fair. 8-4 at a pinch, but I go 7-5. All right. It's going to be a very quick video. Just to confirm, we've got to talk about something else. Just to confirm that Terence Crawford versus Kell Brook is official now for November 14th. You know what? Boxing has given, I salute you, boxing. I was so angry about 3 months ago, but you've given me shit now. Boxing has given me what I needed, like a drug, in the last few months. And that almost was the icing on top of the cake that was. That was fantastic. Very happy. Good luck to Kell in that fight. That's going to be very, very tough. All right, should we talk about the nonsense that is Terry O'Connor for a few minutes? Let's have a little sip of this. I'm joking, Coke. I'm joking, coffee. All right, so Terry O'Connor was a judge in the Ritson versus Miguel Vasquez fight, and he scored the fight to Ritson 119-109. Now, obviously, I was extremely upset at the time. Extremely upset. I clearly 100% said that Terry O'Connor should be thrown out of boxing, should be fired, and all those stuff. And although I was very upset at the time, I'm actually still upset. He should be thrown out of boxing. Terry O'Connor should be fired. 100% should be fired. Have you seen the picture that's going around of him on his mobile phone as well? He was watching. He's on his mobile phone as he is as the fight's going on. I wouldn't be shocked if he's doing in-play betting there. That's how bad that score is. You know how bad that score is? That score is so bad, I had it 119-109 to Vasquez. So the fact that he had it to Ritson shows how bad that score is. Like, that score is frightening. And he surely should be brought up to the British Boxing Board of Control and asked how he got that score. It's that simple. I don't understand why. Terry O'Connor has done this so many times. He's done this for years. For years. I remember years back when he was, I think it was him. He was the ref for McDermott versus Tyson Fury. McDermott beat Tyson Fury, by the way. Gave it to Tyson Fury. That wasn't that bad though, but that's how far back it goes with him. And it's probably longer than that because Terry O'Connor's quite old. He's just, I don't even want to say corrupt because it's not like Eddie Hearn gets anything out of Ritson. Like, Ritson isn't this superstar that's going to sell millions of tickets. I don't think he's that guy anymore. I think they thought he might be, but I don't think he is. So it's not like he's doing this for corruptness. I don't know if that's even a word. I think it's just inept. I think he's just shit. I just think he's rubbish and foolish and clearly has I don't know what it is. I don't know. I want to be careful with my words here because I'm not quite sure what it is. But I don't think people are calling it corruption. I don't think it is corruption. I would call it out if it was. I don't think it is that. I just think he's shit at his job. He's that bad. I don't even think he cares. I don't think he even scores fights properly anymore. He's just not good. And I think the British Boxing Board of Control need to make a statement here and just fire him. Just fire him. It's that simple. I mean, in football, you might not know this, well, you should know this. If a Premier League referee does something really bad, obviously he doesn't get exposed and it doesn't come out in the papers or social media, but he gets demoted to like Championship and League One. You don't even hear from him for about 4 or 5 games because he's actually in the league, he's in League One or the Championship refereeing. You actually get demoted down, which affects your pay packet. You get more to ref in the Prem. That's what happens. And then eventually, once you learn from your mistake, you come back up again. That's what it is. Maybe he should go down a level if he's not going to be fired. Like the minimum should be he doesn't ref these high level fights. The minimum. He's just a dodgy referee, dodgy judge, dodgy everything. There should be way more boxers, former boxers, as ref and judges. Way more. I'm surprised there isn't. Because these boxers obviously see things a lot better, and hopefully they're not as inept or corrupt. Hopefully. All right. That's it. We're not going to get. Is any news? Let's see if there's any news. I don't think there is any news. I think that's it. Very quick, short and sweet. Congratulations again to Teofimo Lopez, the undisputed lightweight champion of the world. Again, happy to eat humble pie. I did say Loma's going to win and Loma's going to do this and do that. And, we didn't see it. We didn't see it, but we didn't see it because of Teofimo. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've always, I think in sports, we like to diss. Like, for example, some people are going to diss Loma. No. All that dissing energy, unwrap it. Pack it up, wrap it again, and give it to Teofimo. That's what we need to start doing in the sport. Not just in boxing, every sport. If someone wins in football, if an underdog beats a favourite, it's always like, you're almost like, how did the favourite lose? Well, the favourite lost because the underdog won. And that's how it is in boxing. Loma lost because Teofimo was just that good. Just that good. First half of that fight. Second half got a bit scary for him, but I thought the first half of that fight, he showed why he is, for me now, a pound for pounder. That's it. He's now a pound for pounder. Loma's stock doesn't drop that much. Teofimo's goes through the roof. That's how it is. That's boxing. This is why we love the sport, people. Peace.